So welcome to Let's Talk About Teams. In this session, we're going to talk about audio.
Yeah. And for me, I'm really happy that I could join here, Lars. And audio is something that's really to my heart because if you don't have audio in a meeting, you don't have a meeting at all. So it's all about audio basically. And yeah.
It's kind of fun because if we look a bit back in the days, people was always asking about what kind of resolution can I get.
Yeah.
It was all about the cameras and the screen itself, but now it's what actually happened, why it's now audio.
Audio is, if you have bad audio in a meeting room, people will not use the meeting room at all. They would rather be on the desk with a nice headset instead, which is also a great thing to have. But sometimes a meeting room with everything inside is just really, really nice to be in and you have a greater experience in the meeting. So.
Yeah, exactly. So if we talk about audio, there is kind of two sides of it. There's kind of the microphones and the speakers. So which one do you want to start off with?
I actually prefer to go a bit further and talk about the room itself because if I have a room today, I can put as much equipment in with electronics as money can buy, but I might not get a good room out of it. So the acoustic is always something that you need to have allocated some money on. And in an advisor role, I would always say to the customer, spend the money wisely on acoustic rather than on equipment, because it's all about to have the room better soundproofed or sound engineered. So.
Yeah, it's kind of fun because often when people call me and say, can you get me a better microphone? And yes, we can. But why not give the good experience for all the people, even them that sits within the meeting room? That's probably the most important, because often people like, yeah, we can do something. Maybe you can get a better microphone. But if you go into the room and clap your hands, everything is like, wow,
There's reverb, right? So it's... And it's funny because we have been working together in the past, and I remember one of the first case we actually had a customer where I think we had 4 or 5 microphones for that type of meeting rooms they were testing out, and to figure out which one they should use before it was so important to them to have quality audio. Yeah. And today it's not always driven by the quality of the meetings, because it's always a price point in here. But then we have 2 silos who's going to pay for the equipment again, and sometimes it's facility with the meeting room and it's IT with the meeting or the MTR equipment, right?
So by itself,
So the acoustic, you need to have that in as well, because you will never be able to when you clap your hands to get it better in there. So yeah,
exactly. So if we look at a meeting room, let's say we have a standard meeting room of 4 by 5 meters.
Yeah.
Is there any thumb rule that we need to know or could help us in the start to get better acoustic? I mean, a lot of architects are really happy about glass.
Yeah, glass is always bad for the meeting room itself. That of course is because it reflects the audio. Audio is a wave, that's sound is a wave coming out, so it will automatically hit the surface of the glass wall and go back to the microphone, and the audio in there is just going everywhere in the room. And for instance, you could do something. It also depends how the setup is. So if you have a bar setup for MTR, I will prefer to have something on the back wall to do something about the audio hitting the back wall. Do something about the ceiling and put a carpet in. Sometimes you don't have to do that much to get a better audio in a meeting room.
Or bring couches into every meeting room. I mean, that's so much more nice.
That's really comfortable and comfy in a way. Yeah. And regarding microphones, because if we had this bar set up again, right? Some brands, they have external microphones you can attach to them. I prefer that over anything else, because as soon as you move the microphone out from the same place as the speaker, you have another reflection towards this microphone. And it's not just bumping back and forth again. So if I can put an external microphone on the system, I will prefer to do it. But otherwise, there's ceiling microphones from many manufacturers today that's team certified, and they work perfectly in many rooms. Actually, in the Nordics, we don't have that many microphones on the table, but there is microphones out there that you can put on the table. But we're keen about architecture and so on, so we don't have anything on the table. We don't have cables or anything. And
so that's primarily a Nordic thing, I guess, because that's what we hear all the time. You say, why do you want the ceiling mics in there?
Exactly. and it is a Nordic thing, but again, you also have like something on the table, cups and so on. I know you can make some noise cancelling about it, but once in a while there will be a glitch or something. So I actually prefer to put it in the ceiling, and it's easier to hide and make more natural in there, and people don't have to think about where the microphone is. But I always want the audio to, or at least I prefer to have the audio from the screen as well, because the person I'm talking to needs to talk to me from where he's sitting, right? So that's something I really and I see there's something going on at the moment where the manufacturers is gonna bring in larger bars, more wattage on the speakers, etc., better microphone coverage. But still, we have this small, medium, and large room set up from Microsoft side with certified devices, and you have to keep in mind that there's a reason why it is certified for this area, and it's also because it needs to work in a really bad acoustic environment as well. So
So I'm going to take you a bit back to, again, acoustic. So if we want to build a meeting room on 4x5, what is the most important we kind of said that the camera quality in Teams are so good right now that not that you should prioritize. It should be the audio. And the audio is not only a good microphone and a good speaker, it should be something else. But the problem for a lot of customers and probably you out there is like, how much should I have?
Yeah.
What do I need to buy? Do you have any like good ideas that might not rip the budget apart?
A carpet, for instance, that's always a good place because it's fairly easy to purchase. You can go to IKEA, you can go somewhere else, but actually there's different acoustic panels today, which is also fairly cheap. And if you want to brand something, you can actually get branded stuff on there and put it on the wall as a wallpaper or as a painting. So go in that direction. That's
so basically anything soft.
Yeah, anything soft, not with a hard surface on top of it, like the couch I'm sitting in, but more like with cotton or something on. That's something you could put in.
Yeah,
and again, it could also be, for instance, I visited a customer one day. I think you were with me as well, where they had a ceiling, down ceiling, and there was nothing on top of it. It was just a hard ceiling, and they could just put some insulation on top of it, and it will just do something for the room because there was just space below, above it, and it would just make everything like a really bad audio in there.
So I think the main thing also from my perspective is that we need to think about audio. Audio is not something that comes from my mouth to your ears.
Nope.
It's basically just bouncing all over in the room.
Yeah.
And the more we can stop the reflection in the room, the better it will get.
Exactly.
And then again, it don't necessarily would need to be expensive, but it does make a huge impact on the meeting quality that it gets better audio in there.
Yeah.
And for basically, you say for the employees or for you guys sitting out there, it also makes your brain more relaxed.
the funny part is, I was talking with a customer one day, and they were talking about, our meeting room is fine and everything. And then I asked the HR lady, and she was just like, I got complaints about the bad audio quality in here, etc. People don't want to use this meeting room. And we went into the Teams admin center and looked at the statistic, how many times has this been used, room actually been used. Yeah. And it was not as frequently used as the other one where they had this carpet on the floor and a better acoustic in. So I actually think that people would tend to book the meeting room that they actually feel comfortable in. And we all know the restaurant where we cannot speak with the partner sitting across the table because it's really bad audio, right? Yeah. But then we find this one or two restaurant where there's really good audio in, and we just, it was a really nice and lovely evening out there, etc. Right? It's the same for the daily business where we go into a meeting room and want to have a good, experience.
A good experience, or not a noisy one. Yeah. So we talked about doing these videos not too long, so maybe doing them short. So anything you want to say here at the end?
A lot. A lot, but let's keep that for another session because we're gonna do more of these sessions. But always keep in mind that have the speaker's audio coming from the screen is preferably something that's tends to be the best part, not from the ceiling.
So it's basically also trying to that we want to do it like when we speak in person.
Yeah.
So if I look at the person over there, but I get the audio from over here,
then
it distracts my brain.
Exactly.
So with that said, thank you so much for watching. I hope you see us, or we see you in the next episode.